Several months ago, my dog Cody and I went to the foothills of the Sierras for what I thought would be a fun day of adventure and discovery. We waded across the Calaveras River and then proceeded to an area along one of its tributaries where a Google Earth image had indicated some early placer mining may have occurred. Before I go any further, I think it's important to mention that I have a lot of professional experience in mining safety. For example, this is a 40-year-old photo of me after coming up the vertical shaft of what was then a working gold mine. Knowledge and experience is, of course, really important in potentially dangerous situations, but I have seen men more experienced than I have serious and even fatal accidents. Especially dangerous are old underground mines. Now, Cody and I have been in some of these old underground mines, but today we were just looking for what was probably the remains of some dredging that had occurred along the river. We eventually found the site seen on Google Earth, and it was indeed an old gold dredging site. We found tailings by the river, some pits and trenches, and the remains of an old stone building. And the building was probably associated with some early gold rush prospecting, while the dredging may have been done as recently as the 1940s. If you know Labrador retrievers, you know they love water. This is an earlier photo of Cody jumping into New Hogan Lake. So one of the things Cody did while I was doing my inspection was to go into the river. And after getting soaked, she came back to the main mining area and then proceeded to roll around in the dirt to get dry. This is a photo of Cody on the day after we returned from the mine site. Over the next 2 days, the sores became much worse and covered almost her entire body. To give you an idea of how serious it was, the vet bill was well over $1,000. This is a photograph from the internet that shows what contact mercury poisoning looks like on human skin. Now, these sores are not as large as the ones Cody had, but they do look similar. The vet's only guess was that Cody had some sort of allergic reaction. However, based on where Cody and I had been the day before, I believe it was mercury poisoning. Another possibility I briefly considered was that it could have been a reaction to poison oak. I ultimately rejected this possibility because for the last 10 years, Cody and I had been hiking in the hills and had frequently encountered poison oak. I, of course, avoided contact with the poison oak, but Cody just went right through it. Even so, she had never had any reaction at all. In addition, prior to Cody, my earlier Labrador had also been exposed in the same way for more than 10 years, and she never had a problem either. A very expensive blood test for mercury would have settled this issue, but I didn't think it was necessary. In any case, I informed the state of the possible presence of mercury at this mine site. While the state didn't know anything about this specific site, they were well aware of mercury contamination in the reservoir that this river flowed into. In fact, this is a chart that warns fishermen about the Mercury Hazard. For those that aren't already familiar with the use of mercury in mining, the following is a little background. Most, if not all, the lakes in the California Mother Lode have some degree of mercury contamination because of the use of mercury by early gold miners. Mercury was used to separate very small particles of gold from other material. Some small-scale miners in the U.S. still use mercury, but usually only small amounts are used, and hopefully it's done in a safe way. Unfortunately, mercury is still used in large amounts and in very unsafe ways in some third world countries. Well, back to California history. One of the reasons early gold mining was so profitable was the discovery in California of large deposits of the ore mercury is derived from. Prior to the early 1850s, mercury had to be imported from Europe at great expense. Now, this is a photo of an old mercury mine that my daughter and I visited many years ago. Well, Cody and I are back to going on adventures in the hills, but because of this sad experience, Cody won't be going to any more mines. Instead, she and I will focus more on continuing our searches for such things as undocumented Native American habitation sites. Thanks for watching, and I hope you found this video interesting and helpful. Be careful out there.